vlog series. This is entry number 11, and basically, we're keeping shit real. So, basically, what I mean by that is that I'm not someone who's going to try to entertain you or to make things seem like everything is nice and epic. I'm basically going to let you guys know when things are rolling really well, or maybe when things aren't going so well. Kind of like my last episode, number 10, where we kind of talked about a dark Sunday where I was kind of having a bad day. But this past week, it was actually a pretty solid week, and I think the reason it was a solid week, it just stems for me personally. When things outside the gym are going extremely well, generally I'm a lot more happy, obviously. So when family life is good, when my relationship with my wife is really good, it just makes prep that much easier. So the goal of my prep, of course, we think about goals of prep. Get in shredded condition, the best shape of your life, try to place real high, what have you. But for me, just the ultimate goal is, and the priority is to make sure that life outside of bodybuilding is never compromised. So, of course, prep takes sacrifice. We have to do things in order to, get into extreme levels of conditioning. But for me, I just make it a priority that those extremes should not be at the expense of my priorities, and that's my family. So that is the goal, is just to make sure that they're not feeling the effects of my contest prep. So with that said, this past week, especially weekend, my wife and I made it a point to have a date night. And we both are firm believers in that, if our relationship is solid, then the family is going to be solid. So we're the foundation of the family. That should be taken care of. And if that's taken care of, then the family ends up being a lot happier. So we had a great night out on Friday. We went to a comedy club in Old Sacramento. We had some laughs, and we just had a great time. So that was kind of what I did over on Friday, last Friday. Saturday, my wife and I took our son to the Oakland Zoo. And for those of you who've never really been to the Oakland Zoo, there's a lot of hills, like a lot of steep hills that you have to kind of walk up to see the animals. So it was kind of like an extra cardio session for myself, and for her as well. My son's a little too small to be walking those distances without crapping out, so we were pushing him around. Mainly, I was pushing him around, but he enjoyed it. We enjoyed it. We had a good time. So it was a good family day on Saturday, and then Sunday, I took my son to see my dad, and watching them interact and have a good time. And we went to lunch and at BJ's, and I did have basically a pretty decent meal there. It was refeed day, and it's early on in the prep. I am only the eighth, ninth weekend. The final product isn't going to be done until probably summer of 2017, and I'm probably going to be end up competing hopefully late in 2017 at both WMBF Worlds and IFPA Worlds. So, here it is, August of 2016, refeed day. I'm going to probably, enjoy a little bit of food here and there as we get closer to showtime. Month, 2 months, 3 months out, maybe even 4 months out. Those types of things are going to be a little bit under control. Where I'd probably say, all right, Dad, as much as I love, going out to eat with you, I'm gonna go, but I'm probably just gonna order a Diet Coke and probably a salad, and but I'll still enjoy the company with you. So that's basically how my approach is, as far as like eating out. With family and whatnot, and they all understand what I'm trying to accomplish. That's one thing that I've learned over the years, is to really communicate with your family and friends. About what your goals are, what you're trying to do, and what you need to do in order to attain those goals. And I think that's where if you communicate that with your family and friends, that they tend to understand a little bit better about the extremism that you have to go to in order to attain elite levels of conditioning. So I think, for those of you who are maybe inexperienced, or maybe you're experienced, but you really haven't communicated, the sport of bodybuilding to them, that even though maybe some family members may not always agree with what you're doing, but maybe they'll have a better understanding of what you're doing, and how important it is to you, and maybe there's some type of compromise there. So it's pretty important for me anyways to make sure I communicate, um, with my wife, with my family, etc., and letting them know as I go, how the prep is unfolding, what lies ahead, what's going on in the current moment, and what I'm doing. So there's no surprises, and there's always understanding of, you know, what's going on. And I think I also make it a priority that, again, that I can't expect those around me to cater to what I'm doing in the bodybuilding world. It's the other way around. I want to make sure that I'm catering to them. So, anyways, long rant. Hopefully, you guys got something out of that. So let's get to kind of what my prep is looking like now. So basically, the game plan is 4 weeks of being in a deficit, and then 4 weeks at maintenance. So in June, when I started the prep, I was in a deficit. I got down from 204 pounds down to 200. And then basically for the month of July, which is now over, I held 199 for the most part. I touched down on a couple of 198s, but for the most part, it's been like 199 with a couple of sporadic 200s in there. So 199 through July. And now, as of yesterday, August 1st, now I'm digging to get down to 195. So for the month of August, the next 4 weeks, going to grind to 195. So my protocols basically have been, 50 fat, 300 carbs, 200 protein 5 times a week, and then I was having 2 refeeds a week, 50 fat, 400 carbs, 200 protein, and then my cardio was 2 to 3 times a week of walking for about 55, 60 minutes. Um, those protocols held 199. And now, for the month of August, the only variable I'm going to touch initially, is just I'm going to ramp my cardio up. So basically from 2 to 3 times per week, I'm going to go to 5 times per week, walking for about 55 to 60 minutes. So just increasing my activity. And there was a question I had, I think it was episode 9, I think it was. Someone, basically was surprised that I wasn't losing more weight on the calories that I'm on now. And, part of the reason is that I'm very sedentary. When I'm not, doing cardio, and when I'm not weight training, basically I'm sitting in an office chair, working online. So I'm pretty inactive. So I don't really want to lower my food down right now because it's not super high, and I want to make sure that my food is there, in order to really keep my performance up in the gym, or and improving it. So I don't want to go too low on food, and right now, being that I'm like close to a year away from potentially getting on stage, I don't really want to lower my food down a year away from the stage. So I'd rather just get myself more mobile and get myself active, and see if I can facilitate more fat loss through activity. Of course, if I can't do that through activity, then I would definitely lower some food down. But for now, anyways, we're going to just see what 5 cardio session does a week. And it's walking outdoors, so it's not like it's very invasive. It's not really assertive, so I should be able to have no issues recovering from that, or impeding on my performance in the gym. So that's kind of what the game plan is for August. It's just, like I said, to get myself down to 195 from 199. And then the month of September, I'm probably just going to look to maintain 195. And keep improving strength. If I happen to maybe stagnate on some lifts or maybe even regress on some lifts while I'm digging to 195, then definitely, when I'm at maintenance calories at 195 pounds through the month of September, in theory, anyways, I should be able to get my lifts moved back up. And I think that's, for me, is really key to, maximizing muscle retainment. So that's basically the game plan. But overall, right now, I'm really kind of in a much better mood than I was in the week prior. The week prior, I was kind of getting down a little bit on that Sunday because I wasn't really liking the way my physique was looking. But this week, I'm starting to see resemblance of my former self, and I'm not sure if I've actually made any off-season improvements because I'm not lean enough yet to really see if there's been any added muscle, but I'm definitely seeing some resemblance of my former self, and that's motivating. That's like, okay, so far the game plan's doing its thing. I'm starting to kind of see my hamstrings for the first time this prep because all off season I really couldn't see hamstrings too much, and that is a first for me. Usually off season I still have hamstrings, but I got a little bit soft. So seeing some progress, that's definitely motivating. And I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, meaning I don't want to keep looking to next summer or Worlds 2017 like the end goal. I want to basically keep myself in the here and now. That way I don't get impatient and I don't try to rush the process. And this is a process, in my opinion, that has no business being rushed because basically the slower I go, the more I'm going to be able to hold on to my performance in the gym, if not improve performance. And basically that's what's kind of key to, like, again, muscle retainment. That's something I've learned over the last three preps. In 2009, it was a right around a 28-week prep, lost over 40 pounds, got on stage at 160 pounds shredded, won a couple pro cards. But then 2011, I prepped for 47 weeks in total, lost about the same amount of weight, got on stage 170 pounds shredded, so 10 pounds heavier 2009. 2014, 50-week prep, went a little bit slower, was about the same weight, 170, as 2011, but came in a little bit bigger, a little bit crisper. So it was definitely a better product. So this time, again, I'm even extending that timeline even longer and chipping away at it even slower in hopes of even retaining a bit more muscle and putting an even better package on stage. And because of the timeline, because of how long it is, life outside the gym um, should not be and as impacted as it was in previous preps. So that is the goal, to make myself better physically, to make myself better mentally and emotionally. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll see you guys next week.